Hey guys, welcome back to Mod Pop Thrift. My name's Tom. I'm a full-time eBay reseller and a stay-at-home dad for my 6 children. And today's episode is going to be a little bit weird and different. I'm going to lean a little bit into the Kevin the Commonwealth picker and Dave the ADH guy. NC picker. Anyway, before we get into what sold, and there's a handful of things, I got 4 that have to go out today, and I think I have 13 to ship, things that'll have to go tomorrow. I want to say I do not, admittedly, I do not handle criticism very well. So you know what's a good idea for somebody that doesn't handle criticism well? Start a YouTube channel where you divulge all kinds of things about your life, both privately and professionally. But so far, you guys have been super gracious about your comments and stuff. And when I see something that I think is critical of me, critical of other people in the field, critical of reselling as a whole, or somebody in the comments makes fun of somebody else, all things that have happened, I generally will block that person from the channel. Delete their comment first and then block them from the channel. First offense, no retort, no, hey, we don't have that in this community. The reason that I say I'm leaning into the ADH Dave is because I got a comment the other day that was critical, but also reasonably insightful, and I think I can answer it in a way that helps people understand who resellers are and what we do and why it works. And so I'm going to pick a handful of things. This is where I'm Commonwealth pickering. I'm going to pick the 4 things that have to go. We'll talk about those. And then I'll talk about that comment and the commenter as we're picking other things. So the first item that sold is in this box called 1, 2, 3 hats. And it is hats. I bought a bunch of hats that were at an estate sale. Like they were $5 a piece for the first weekend, and then they were $1 a piece, and I ended up buying 3 boxes this size full of hats. For one of them I bought for $5 a piece, and then 2 other ones I bought when they went half price. This, I don't remember where this came from. I know I got it in a huge lot of hats, and one of them was new with tag, and it took forever to sell, so long that I don't even remember where it came from. And the other one sold right away, and it's not like I was asking a fortune for this one just because it has the tag. It sold for $10 plus shipping. 1, 2, 3 hats. And that box is right here, almost within arm's reach of my desk if I'm standing up, so I thought I'd bring it over here. The next thing that sold, this I bought somebody's whole collection, their entire storage unit, leftovers from their store when they retired from reselling. And this one, so I paid like $1 a piece for everything. This was one of the things. It is Build-A-Bear Workshop Aladdin Genie from the live action movie. So this is a plush bear Will Smith. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Anyway, how sad for him that that's what he's going to be remembered for the rest of his life, because he did a lot of cool stuff and now he's just that guy. $9 plus shipping on him. Probably took 6 months to sell. I would not have picked that up, but it was part of the lot, so I did list it when I got it. This guy sold for $8 free shipping, and I listed him. He's articulated 1 point of 2 points of articulation. And he's from like the 70s, 60s, 1969 Walt Kelly Beauregard Hound. Not familiar with that cartoon at all, but is $8 free shipping worth messing with? No, but a toy from 1969 that has survived and came into my possession, who am I to throw it away? So I listed it for $8 free shipping. I'll put up here the 75 cents I made on it. I bought it as it came in a box from Hybid, so maybe I paid $2.50 for the whole box, and I don't even know what else came in it. I do remember that being a Hybid lot, or maybe it was like the retro truckload sale, and it was in a box of just, I bought a whole huge box of stuff. But anyway, that wasn't something that I went and sourced. It was something that I ended up with in buying a bulk lot. And then sometimes that stuff I still list, even though like $8 free shipping is objectively not worth my time. 2 pictures, and this is to the point that we're going to talk about in a minute, 2 pictures of that thing, 3 pictures, probably 4 because I like to be at least 4 pictures, but snap, turn, snap, turn, snap, turn. How long does that take? And then steal a title, and now I'll put it in a poly mailer or a padded envelope, and it'll be, the grand total took me 4 minutes to make that money, and I'm preserving the thing for somebody who does appreciate it. LRG, Lifted Research, I think, Lifted Research Group, clothing and equipment. Something that's interesting to learn about this, if you don't know, that you see higher end or workwear kind of stuff with the squares pattern, and that is called ripstop. So these are not going to tear out on you the way that some khaki shorts would if you catch your knee and you're big like I am. Anyway, I bought these not necessarily intending to sell them. I thought they would fit my oldest son, and they were a little bit too big, and he fit 2 of the ones that I bought. So I bought these for $6 at Goodwill, and he's like, I'll keep these 2, but these don't really fit, and I don't know that I would like to wear them as big as they are. So you can sell those, and so these sold for $18 plus shipping, so the buyer's all in it, $26. I don't tend to do well with LRG, but there are things that you can do well with that Lifted Research Group stuff. And these are going to be super easy to mess with. So those are the 4 things that we have to ship. I'm going to print these labels, and then we'll come back and talk about comments. Okay, so let me start with the comment itself, and I have it pulled up right here on my computer off screen. It says, how long did you shop in Goodwill to maybe get $64 profit? You have to list it, hope it sells, then pack it up and ship it. Wow. So I feel like that, especially on this video, that's probably a pretty fair criticism, except, and let's be honest, the how long did you spend in Goodwill to make maybe $64 ends in a period. It doesn't end in a question because it's a rhetorical question. It isn't something that somebody actually wants the answer to. The answer is 20 minutes. And I think that plays into it quite a bit here. Anybody who's been with my channel for a very long time knows that I'll go in and spend 2 hours in Goodwill, but then I'll generally spend $150 and bring home $500 in profit, that kind of thing. And that's the way that it normally goes. But on this one, I spent probably 20 minutes. The video's only 8 minutes long because there wasn't a lot to see. I grabbed the things that were profitable and I got out. And so 20 minutes, also something that you don't see in this video that I don't generally keep track of, but just happened to because my kids get out of school. I know what time I need to leave the house in order to get in the pickup line. And I looked at the clock and I said, I have 20 minutes until I need to go pick up the kids from school. I bet I can get all of that stuff pictured. If I just lay it out right here, I can get all that stuff pictured pretty quickly and I'll get the pictures taken. And what I did was I got the pictures taken. I drove over to the kids' school. I sat in the pickup line while in park while we're waiting on the kids to come out. And I got all 6, I think. It was 1 guitar, 2 guitars, and then it was those cups and the Ranger hat. And then I pulled another guitar, and there was one other item. It doesn't really matter what it was, but there were 6 items that I had. I just knew my brain wasn't going to give it up. It was the Mortal Kombat game. So I guess it did matter because I wasn't going to be able to continue until. So we got 2 guitars that I bought. There was another guitar, the hat, the cups, and that Mortal Kombat game. And so it took me less than 20 minutes to put batteries in those guitars, to sell them, to test them, and I didn't have a dongle, so I wasn't like testing all the buttons. They're sold as is, powering on and untested. And then sitting in the pickup line is something that I have to do anyway. So the listing time, 20 minutes. I guess I could have been doing something else productive, but I wasn't, and I wasn't gonna be. I would have been sitting there talking to Evelyn or watching some YouTube video or listening to Bob and Tom on the radio or whatever it would be. And then wait for them to sell, pack them up. Let's say that takes another 20 minutes. So I was shopping for 20 minutes, listing for 20 minutes, and shipping for 20 minutes. That's an hour. $64 profit in an hour. That's pretty good. Generally speaking, I don't do that well. But my point here is that with this criticism, I think it tends to be, and I'm implying, so if get in the comments and tell me that I'm wrong, that this guy isn't intending to say that I'm spinning my wheels and wasting my time. If I'm misinterpreting this, let me know. But $64 for an hour, roughly an hour, 2 hours. Let's call it $32.50 an hour. I'm a stay-at-home dad with a high school diploma. $32 an hour is pretty good to make money when I also have the privilege of not having to have a job and spending the bulk of my time with my children, and having my children the security to know that somebody's going to be there to pick them up from school. Somebody's going to be there to get them to school. Twice this week, somebody called and said, "Dad, I don't feel well. Can you come pick me up?" I'm able to pick up and drop off my daughter at preschool, which would be she wouldn't even be able to go to preschool because the preschool they don't have a preschool around here that offers pickup. So that would be a total catastrophe. I have a baby monitor right there in my office, and I can see her bedroom window from there. It's right there. So right out that window, that's the nursery. So I am never going to go get a job with my high school diploma that's going to make more than $64 an hour. And or $32 an hour for that matter. And that's not what my life is about. I cannot, as a father of 6, commoditize my time enough to say that I make this amount of money per hour. My life is pulled in so many directions, and I love my life. I'm not saying that that's not great, but the idea that some people are able to say, I make this much an hour at work, so it's not worth my time to work if it's not going to get me this much time. That isn't how my life works. Also, this one in question, this Goodwill stop, I was driving from the preschool to my house, and Goodwill's on the way. And so I'm not driving 45 minutes an hour. I know several people who 3-4 times a week drive to the bins to find stuff. The bins is an hour and 15 minutes from here, and people in this community drive an hour and 15 minutes. And spend a whole bunch of time. And those people need to be able to say, I spent this much in gas and I was gone for 6 hours because I drove an hour and 15, had to stop and get gas. I spent 4 hours in the bins and turned around and came home and took a half an hour in the middle of the day for lunch. So I'm gone all day. That needs to be a paycheck. Mine is, even though I say I'm a full-time reseller, because I make enough money that is probably replacing what I would have if I had 40 hours a week. I just at a retail job, which is the only jobs I've ever had, being a commission sales for retail. I do this as it fits into my life. And so I was driving past the Goodwill. We stopped for 20 minutes. I have a setup. This is a huge mess at the moment, but I have systems. I have a shelf full of packaging material. You can't see the one that I'm talking about with the orange right here because of the way the door is. But this is the green basket is knives, and this is paper, and then there's shipping boxes and stuff. And so I have systems in place. It isn't as if, I think a lot of these people who are super critical of resellers look at, I'm going to go into Goodwill and I'm going to get these 9 things and make $64. It's a little bit unrealistic for somebody who doesn't already have the systems in place. Because if you have to set up a photo booth and find a place to store the stuff to make $64, that's a whole different ballgame. But I am adding this to the machine. And so I'm not saying that it's super easy. And I did say in this video, we went to Goodwill and we went at the right time and found the right things in order to be profitable. But didn't spend an undue amount of time trying to find other things. I'm not in there wringing my hands. Oh no, I can't find stuff. Let me mull around and see if I can eke out a profit. I'm like, oh, that's profitable, that's profitable, that's profitable. Now, when they're bringing out carts, sometimes I will linger because I know the next cart could have a Salad Master electric skillet or CC Filson flannel shirt on it. And so that's a little bit more the gambler in me that's like, let's just stick around a couple minutes and make sure that next cart doesn't have something amazing on it. But when there's no new carts coming out, I'm in and out. I look at everything. I comp the things that I think need comped, and I make it part of my life as opposed to making my life fit around it. And that's the point of reselling for me anyway. It's not about figuring out how to make this as profitable as I can. For me, it's about I have the life I want to have. I'm living well. I'm making money and is involved in my kid's life as I could possibly imagine being. And I figure out a way to get Goodwill trips, yard sale trips, listing and shipping to fit into my life. So the idea that this Goodwill stop that took 20 minutes isn't worth my time because I'm only making $64 on a 20 minute Goodwill stop, and then the added burden of putting it in a box that I already have over there and taking the pictures to list it and store it and ship it. I have the systems in place, and I'm going to be doing that anyway. If you're going to make $64 on one trip and you only make one trip a week, it probably isn't worth making the systems over. But I already have the systems. And so it's about establishing that this is part of your life and fitting it into living the life that you want to live. I generally don't make a point of addressing criticisms, but I feel like this is kind of stuff that should be said more. I don't say it. I just say, here's what I sold. Here's what I bought. Here's what I sold. Ta-da! Here's my kids. They're cute. Watch my channel. But this is the kind of thing that needs said every once in a while because people have this perception that you're spinning your tires, you're wasting your life because you're never going to get wealthy by buying $3 guitars to sell for $20 profit. You're never going to make a living doing that. A, I don't actually believe that's true. And B, that's not my point. My point is to live and have eBay be a part of that. And so these criticisms, I feel like this criticism is fair-ish and needs addressed to help people understand that the point of being a reseller is that you work for yourself and figuring out a way to make the amount of money that makes your life comfortable. It is what it is. You're never going to satisfy everybody, but I felt like some of this tangent was worth getting into. So we shipped 4. We got a handful more to do before I got to go pick the kids up, but I got an hour before I got to go pick the kids up. So let's get those things pulled. Also, let's talk about YouTube for a minute. The video that I made for 8 minutes cost me more time than the hour that I'm putting in. So if I was all about being a profitability of the length of time that I'm minutes to dollars, I wouldn't have YouTube at all, because I have heard people who have 10 times the subscribers that I have say you don't make enough on YouTube to make it worth the time that it takes. If you want to be a profitable reseller, don't have a YouTube channel. And I would agree with that. I make somewhere on the order of $90 a month, putting out probably 20 videos a month. It is not worth the amount of time and effort that I put into it monetarily, but I enjoy it. And that's also true of garage sales and Goodwills and flipping stuff. So it's about living the life you want to live and not monetizing your minutes to say you were in Goodwill for 20 minutes and only made $64 profit, and that makes your time only worth $32 an hour, and you could make more than that in a chemical plant getting cancer, and your kids have to get themselves on the bus. Why wouldn't you live your life that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not criticizing the people who that's their life and they are doing the best that they can, but you understand. Thanks for watching me rant. Let's get back to pulling stuff. Okay, a few things that I picked up on yard sales on the cheap. I think I paid $1. Maybe I paid $4 for this. It is dated 1990, single stitch. If you're not aware, this shirt has one line of stitching that does the hem and the cuff. And then this more modern shirt we're going to look at in a second has two lines of stitching. Generally speaking, though it is not always the case, single stitch shirts are older, 20, 25 years, 30 years old, single stitch. All shirts from like the 80s would be single stitch almost exclusively. The early 90s, you're probably almost exclusively single stitch. But by the time you get into the late 90s, you can get some double stitch. And there are companies like Junk Food and even like Hollister that are recreating single stitch shirts because it's a popular look. Well, it's a popular look because it's old, used clothing, and people have a reason for wanting that as opposed to buying single stitch because it's what they found on the rack. I think they're missing the point. Anyway, Gumby, 1991, paid $1 or $4. My memory does not serve me well, and it sold. I had it listed for $44. I sent out a $40 offer. I had somebody come at me in the comments and say, could you do $30? And I said, no, I'd do $35. And they said, sold. And then they bought it, and then they paid $37.92. Yeti T-shirts. I thought that this would do well because Yeti tumblers were doing well at the time, and that tells you how long I have had this. And it was $6.75 plus shipping. Not a good pickup. It's like a water buffalo and a salmon, which is funny and neat, I guess. Do not pick up Yeti tumbler branded shirts. They're not worth your time. $5 at a yard sale just a couple of days ago. I picked up this. Big Ben is a company, like I think it was at Sears Roebuck, like Sears and Roebuck. Bluebell is the parent company of Wrangler. And so this is essentially a private label Wrangler's product for Sears, Big Ben. But you have to know too much, like useless knowledge about clothing to realize that Bluebell is Wrangler and Big Ben is Sears, and putting them together. This is a Wrangler product made private label for Sears. And anyway, it's pants, it's coveralls. I paid $5. They are size 36. Here comes my help. And they sold for $31 plus shipping.
Can we watch Genevieve?
Can you be on my YouTube? You want to watch Genevieve?
Yeah.
On YouTube? What's Levi watching? She's home today because her preschool is done for the day, but she's almost done preschool and she got like 5 or 6 days left in total. Yeah, I don't care as long as you're not taking the TV away from Levi, and Levi's home sick today. Next we have this Crock Pot. The Crock Pot I bought for like $4 and I sold the crock out of it for like $15 plus shipping. I sold the lid for like $8 plus shipping, and this sold for $14 free shipping. This is the least valuable part. If somebody doesn't have this part anymore, they're not likely to go buying this to put with the crock and the lid. I guess if this stops heating up, but this is made in the 70s and is going to run forever. So when you find these 1 quart crock pots, Pot Rivel is the brand that invented crock pots. And so theirs do really well. And the 1 quart ones are easy to deal with and sell reasonably well. People
Rival.
like them for cheese dip, fondue. I like to deal with these. You can pick them up reasonably cheap. I paid $5 a piece for, maybe I paid $3 a piece. Yeah, because it was $10 for 3 of them. And they sell for $27 free shipping. Not hugely expensive to ship, but when I'm in it for 3, it'll be $24. And then shipping, I'll probably still make $10 on my $3 investment. And I just wrap them in bubble wrap pretty thoroughly, and then essentially wrap them in cardboard. I take a big box and cut it down so that it fits pretty snugly around the bubble wrap. And that's something else. People are like, that's not worth your time. You're only making $10. It's easy. It's easy. And I sell as many of them as I've ever listed. I have 1 for sale right now, and I've probably sold, so this calendar year, I bet I've sold 15 of them. And so that's $150 just picking them up for $3, $4 a piece and making $10 profit. Easy peasy. This dude right here, we paid $2 for, and I questioned whether or not it was worth getting because he's kind of an obscure character. 1440. Maybe they paid a lot of sales tax. Buyer's all in at $17.50. So that would be like $3 more, but they didn't pay $3 shipping. So it must have been free shipping, and they paid a lot in sales tax. $14.40 free shipping, but it could not possibly be easier to deal with, right? You take 5 pictures, you shove them in an envelope, and it's good to go. This, I paid $3 for at Goodwill, and just let it sit around unlisted forever. And now I listed it with the 6 items we were just talking about. I took pictures in a couple of minutes and then went and waited on the kids to get out of school and listed this while I was sitting waiting. Sold for $48 free shipping. I paid $3, and that is untested in the title. So somebody's going to get this and figure out whether or not it works. Now, it is sold as used, not parts not working. So generally speaking, the person who gets it is going to be, I tend to assume the people who are buying from me are honest. I know a lot of people are not that way. They assume that people are dishonest. And so, well, the guy could get this, and then when it doesn't work, he could send it back because you have free returns and you have, and it's untested, sold as used, so it's assumed working. And those things are true, but that has not burnt me very many times. And I wouldn't want, if the guy messages me and says it doesn't work, I'll be like, okay, and give him his money back, because it isn't worth paying the shipping and assuming that the person's lying. If I'm gonna sell on eBay and assume every person is lying to me and trying to scam me, you're in the wrong business. If you're assuming every person you're dealing with is a lying scammer, then you're just gonna stress yourself out and you need to find something else to do. I'm gonna just assume that they're telling the truth. And like, there are a lot of people who are like, well, you can't just give people a refund because they said so and not make them send it back, because that entices scammers to continue scamming. And I'm not here to fix the internet. I'm here to make money quickly and easily. I can't fix eBay letting scammers do that, and I don't intend to. I know Kevin Commonwealth Picker says, I always make them send it back because I don't want the scammers to know. And I understand that in my head, but to me, it isn't worth the hassle of taking it back and paying the return shipping. Just give them their money back, cut bait, and be gone. Because the stress and the extra expense isn't worth. Do I believe for 1 minute that if I make every person send something back, that's gonna fix the scammering? No. But that's the justification that people give. They're like, well, if you keep doing that, then people are just going to keep scamming. People are going to keep scamming anyway. So why am I spending extra money and extra headache on getting back a broken product, or assuming that everybody's lying to me and everybody's a scammer? I'm ranting a lot today. Picked her up for $4. We played with her for a while. She works. And then we sold her for $29, free shipping. There were not a lot of sold comps for this thing, and there were quite a few listed. But she works, and she sold, and we made money. And that's going to do it. Thanks for listening to me rant about a couple of things. Generally, I don't suffer fools who think that it's their job to criticize strangers on the internet. And so I'm not going to make a habit out of this. I feel like ADH Dave does, like, uses divisiveness to bait people into watching for the drama. That's not the vibe here. So I felt like this critical comment, we could talk about and learn something. But generally speaking, critical or negative comments will just get people deleted from the channel. Hide viewer from channel without so much as a reply or a like on the comment. So we're not getting into doing this on a regular basis, but I felt like this one kind of towed that line of being critical without being rude, but also there was something to be learned from that comment. But generally, I won't suffer fools for a second. And anybody who thinks that criticizing somebody on the internet without having very much information of them, that's a fool, in my opinion. My job is to love my wife well, raise good children, and love my neighbor as myself. And other than that, this subsidizes my job, not the other way around. So my job does not subsidize my life. My life is my life, and this selling silly things on the internet subsidizes my job. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, following, clicking the bell, all the things that you do. I said something about you guys commenting hey, and you're doing a fantastic job. So keep that up. Just comment hey if you don't have anything else to say, but I bet you do on this one. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.